so today I'm gonna do, uh, let's see, uh, let's see if this is lined up properly. I think that can go up here a little bit, maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna go over this again. Does this have all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah. So I'm gonna go over this again, and then after the joke break, I will once again go into this shape and go through the different shapes. I was over here. Does this show all of them? Yeah. So I'll go through all the different shapes. This time, though, I went through the 13 last time, didn't I? Or maybe I only went through 11, 13. So maybe I should do it going a different direction. Maybe I should do a reach back, or because the 4 would be, or maybe I'll do a lean back shape. Because if the 5 was here, uh, 5, the third would be like back here. So maybe I'll do in this quadrant. Maybe I'll lean back to this quadrant. But I don't know if I went through all the shapes because I went through. Maybe I'll stick on this one for a little bit longer, maybe. But I've been thinking on the master shape over here. The master shape. That doesn't sound quite right. But let's see if I go over here. If I, because now I'm thinking, I was trying to say I can move the shape in 4 ways. But really, if I really got more detailed about it, that's what we need to do. We need to get more detailed about it, right? If I got more detailed about it, I feel like I should be able to move the shape to each string. So in other words, maybe this time, instead of looking for the square so much, maybe I look for like maybe I look for like the each nodal point first. So if I'm moving this to nodal point uh, 3, then what I should do, one way I can think about it, is to say, okay, well the nodal point number 3 is the Phrygian, which has a distance of 2 modal half steps back from the nodal point 5, or going forward, it'd be 7 minus 2, 7, 6, 5 modal half steps forward, which would be the 6th scale degree. So, right, so then I can find all of those, and I can say, okay, well, if there's one back here then, because it's 2 modal half steps back, and I can find all of the 3s, and then shift the shape there. Where should it be on the next string? Well, it's going to be right here, so that means that same box pattern is right there. And then where would it be on the next string up? It would be back here, so I could imagine I move it this way. And where would it be on the string down? It would be right there, right, and right there. So instead of thinking, well, I can move the shape left, right, up, or down to the next position, I can think of it as I can move the shape to any to any of the intervals that are currently there. Like if I'm in the collection of notes around the key of C, and this is nodal point 5 Mixolydian, and I want to make that nodal point 5 nodal point 3 Phrygian, then I can find nodal point 3 from the perspective of this being a 5, right? So if I say, okay, well the 3, or let's say I'm going to make the 5 to the nodal point 6, right? Where's nodal point 6? Well, nodal point 6 is 1 modal half step up, which would be a second away. So then all I have to do is imagine that this whole shape is back here, right? So and that would be, or I could say, and I should be able to imagine if I can find the interval from the 5 to the 6, if I want to make that G the 6, nodal point 6 Aeolian, then it would be like I took this whole shape and moved it like down here, right? So if I can find the relative nodal point in the collection of notes that I'm currently in, I can find it in any one of the 6 strings, and then just simply imagine that either the back of the shape moved that 6 to here, or I moved it to there, right? So that's the other. So instead of directionally thinking of the back of the shape going up, down, left, right, or the fretboard going up, down, left, right, I find the interval and think that I'm going to go to each. I can move it to each point on each of the 6 strings, right, relative to the collection I'm in. All right. So I know that was like, that's what I'm thinking, that I'm going to kind of explore that maybe, if that makes any sense. So, but first let's noodle around. Let's get warmed up a bit. I don't know what I want to see if my thing's in tune. Am I even in tune? No. That's It's in tune, but it's in Looney Tune. In Looney Tune. Okay. So let's go here, and I'll just noodle around a bit. What was I trying to work on? Noodling around. I was technique-wise just doing rolls. Trying to hit that bottom string, but I can't get it. But I'm just... let's get to the joke, and then I'll try to do some thinking. Let's see what I got the joke today. Joke practice. Am I still ranting on communism? Probably. Probably. The court case? I don't know. Okay. Okay, I think I'm still ranting on like the crazies, mainly on the main podcasters on the right these days, because they say they're saying some crazy stuff. Like so, but I think they're using like rhymed. They're kind of mixing together like the tabloids, like you got the tabloid stuff with like soap operas, and then because then it's like all like because then they want to say like this person did that and that person did, and they make it all like soap opera-y, and then they use tricky like rhetoric language, like tricky rhyme schemes. That's what I feel like is happening here. Okay. And so, and that's throwing, and then you've got the algorithms that are feeding them to the top of the chart, and it's a toxic. The whole thing is a messy combination. That's my premise for my mindset here. Okay. So we've all seen the conspiracy boom lately. It's like Costco is selling them in bulk. But beware of the rhymes, man, especially the almost rhymes. The almost rhymes. Those are the really sneaky ones. The ones that don't quite work, but your brain still chases them around like those change in a dryer, for crying out loud. Like Tucker Carlson, for example. A man so allergic to honesty, he breaks out in hives when the truth walks by. This guy will look straight into the camera with that confused golden retriever stare and go, America didn't preserve Venezuela because human rights or oil or peace through strength. No, none of that. No. It's globo homo. And you're like, globo homo? And it's like, okay, I don't like all the crazy like gay stuff that we had to go through for the last 10 years. I get it. But globo homo? Like, does that even... Global homo? Does that even work, dude? I mean, that sounds like a geopolitical threat, more like a pride parade sponsored by like Home Depot or something like global homo. But here's the thing. You repeat that nonsense in your head 1,000 times, like unconsciously, and suddenly your brain's like, wait, did the gays form a cabal? It's a gay ball? They formed a cabal? And did they overthrow Venezuela between brunch and Pilates or something like that? And your own mind is arguing back, no, idiot, it doesn't even rhyme. It doesn't even rhyme. It's global homo. And it's like your brain's like, no, wait, no, it's global homo. No, there's an AL in global. It doesn't rhyme with homo. You have to remove the L and then change the A to an O, even for it to make any freaking sense. Where did the L go? Why is the L gone? Who stole the L? It's a linguistic hostage situation, man. I'm convinced Tucker stole this trick from the last Taylor Swift album, by the way. It's not his unique. He's not like a super genius or anything. He stole it from pop culture. The one where she tried to rhyme savage with bad bitch. Savage, bad bitch, savage. What does that even mean? It would be if savage. It would be savage, bad bitch. It doesn't make. Even if I heard it like 10 times, it's like bad bitch, savage. Does that rhyme? Do I need to update my operating system because something doesn't quite fit? But hey, this is nothing new. We've been falling from rhyme magic since like forever. Remember the courtroom days. The evidence is mountain crushingly damning against this guy here, man. And a lawyer stands up and is like, ladies and gentlemen, if it don't fit, you must acquit. And it's like suddenly the whole country goes, dang, he rhymed it, man. Case closed. Criminal walks free because the attorney dropped a Dr. Seuss bar in the murder trial. It's like, this is amazing. I mean, I get it. It's hard to rhyme and rhythm with acquit. You can do one or the other, rhyme or rhythm, but try to get the beats right. So I know, but still, it's not a good argument. Not a good argument. Not a good use of the rhyme power, man. They're rhyming for evil. It's using rhyme for, so beware of the rhyme. It's a force. It could be a force for good, but in the hands of the liars, deceivers, and, mostly lawyers, it becomes a substitute for truth, a weaponized nursery rhyme that makes your brain go, close enough. Use rhyme responsibly, people. Use rhyme responsibly. Stop going after the guns. Start at least pointing out the fact that these people are weaponizing rhymes against everyone. And at least we need to be made aware of it. That's where the real danger is these days. I wrote a song about it. It's a Suno song. I haven't heard it yet. Let's see what Suno does.
Yeah. Conspiracies booming like Costco's running a weekend sale. But listen, beware of the rhymes, man, especially the almost rhymes. The dumb ones your brain chases like loose change tumbling in a dryer. Yeah. We've all seen the crazy theories popping off in bulk. Bargain bin nonsense stacked higher than milk. But beware of the rhymes, man, they slip in your mind, especially the sort of kind of rhymes that almost align. They don't really work, but your thoughts still chase it like a coin in a dryer. You can't help but face it. Take Tucker Carlson, allergic to the truth, breaks out in hives when honesty enters the room. Looks dead in the camera with the puzzle dog stare like a golden retriever trying hard to grow hair, and he goes, America didn't pressure Venezuela for human rights.
Not oil.
Not strength. No, it was global homo. Global homo, dude, stop the show. That sounds less like danger and more like a pride float, sponsored proudly by Home Depot. But here's the catch, repeat that nonsense 1,000 times in your head and suddenly your brain's like, wait, did the gays form a cabal? A gay ball? Did they take Venezuela between brunch and Pilates at the mall? And then your brain argues back like a boxing match. No, idiot, it doesn't rhyme, drop the patch. It's global homo, or is it global homo? Where'd the L go? Why is the L gone? Who stole the L, bro? It's a linguistic hostage situation. Let us tied up without representation. I swear Tucker stole this trick from Taylor Swift's track, where she tried to rhyme savage with bad bitch back to back. Even I heard it 10 times like bad bitch savage. Does that rhyme? Do I need to update my mind? Where's the patch for this line? But this ain't new. We've been fooled by rhyme magic since the dawn of the Q. Remember the courtroom days, evidence stacked high, crushing mountain, touching sky, then a lawyer stands up like a rhyming samurai. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't quit, you must acquit. And suddenly the whole nation goes, dang, he rhymed, the case closed. A criminal walks free like a victory parade, cause the lawyer dropped the Dr. Seuss bar on the legal stage. Amazing. Yeah, it's hard to rhyme rhythm with a quit. But come on, that rhyme ain't it. That's rhyme power misused, rhyming for evil dudes. So beware of the rhyme, man. It's a force for good, but in the hands of liars, deceivers, and lawyers in suits, it becomes a substitute for truth, a weaponized nursery line that makes your mind say, yeah, close enough. Use rhyme responsibly before the rhyme starts using you.
kind of a funky tune, kind of a weird rhythm, but hey, that's Suno. It's basically reading my script again, but I'm kind of okay with it now. I was getting mad because Suno's just reading my script with like music behind it, but now it's like, I'm kind of impressed by it. Okay. Anyways, Globo Homo. So stupid. Oh, God. Our foreign policy is based on Globo Homo. Okay. Okay. I didn't like the last 10 years either, but come on. That's it's going a little, I'm not buying that. Okay. Anyway. Let's get back to it. All right. Okay. So I was on the Dorian. So let's go. I'm gonna go from so maybe I should go from 5 to 6 Aeolian, and then the Locrian. So let's go back to the collection of notes around the key of C as the starting point, which is 4. If I start from A, that would be 4. So now I'm in the collection of notes around the key of C. So that means the C is on fret 8, and then first string down from the ceiling, which is the Ionian, and then that's going to be right here, and then the end of the shape is on fret 5, Aeolian. That's the Aeolian shape, or Ionian G shape, or the shape number 1. And so I'm down here on fret 5, third string down from the ceiling, which is a G, which in this collection of notes around the key of C happens to be the Mixolydian. Let's see what Ara has to say about this. Let's bring Ara into the conversation. That's what everyone's here for. They want to hear Ara. I'm the only one that could host Ara. No one else. Ara seems like she's available, but no one else hosts Ara. She doesn't talk with anyone else. I only get her on my podcast. She only comes to my podcast. Wait a sec. Let's see. Ara.
Yeah?
Okay, we're doing a music theory thing, and you're the host. You're the color
Great.
person, talking not to me but to the audience.
All right.
She's doing the
To the
cutoff.
audience. Hey everyone, grab your notebooks. Tonight we're diving straight into the heartbeat of every good song, rhythm. How many of us already clap
Okay,
off beat
Ara,
at
Ara,
church?
you're the color.
Let's fix
You're
that.
the color person. I am the main presenter. I am the main presenter. Okay. So we're gonna say we're on nodal point 5 as a G. Okay. So if we look relative to that, that means that the third would be up here. So we were on a D before, therefore it was a minor third away. Now it's a major third. So I'm looking at this quadrant. I'm defining it as a lean forward quadrant because it's in the upper right, meaning the second modal half step or third scale degree is in the upper right. So nodal point 7, Locrian, is always the second modal half step or third of nodal point 5, Mixolydian. And then the 7 is over here. It has the same distance as Dorian, the minor mode that we were on, because it's 10 notes away, and the Mixolydian also has a minor distance away. Therefore, nodal point 4, Lydian, is always the 6th modal half step, 7th scale degree of nodal point 5, Mixolydian. And then this one is going to be the 11. So the 11 is equivalent to the 4, the 4th. So it's the second modal half step or third modal half step or 4th scale degree is always Aeolian is always the third modal half step or fourth scale degree of Mixolydian. And then we have this one, which is the 13, which is the 12th modal half step or 13th scale degree, which is equivalent to the third modal half step or fourth scale degree, which has a distance, a local distance of 5 notes away from a Mixolydian node as well as a Dorian node. Okay, that's our starting point. So I'm focused on this node right here, the 13, and now I'm going above now. So I'm going to go, okay, we want to go from Mixolydian. I want to make this node. I want to pivot around. So I'm playing in Mixolydian, and my tonic is on my pointer finger, tonic on 5th fret, 3rd string down from the ceiling G. And then I'm like, I'm going to switch that over to the Aeolian, which is kind of like a bluesy thing to do. That's one way you can kind of think of like the bluesy thing to do, right? Because now I'm going to change the third to like a minor third kind of. So that means I'm going to, so that means, how can I visualize that, right? Well, I could visualize that by the intervals. I could say, well, the intervals are going to change because the third is going to be back here primarily. That's the thing I'm focusing in on, and so on. But I would rather change, how can I can also change the whole shape in my mind. So if that 6 right there is going to be, if this needs to be 6, right, in the full shape, I don't like calling it a master shape. It sounds bad. In the master shape, but then this whole thing, like from the back of the position, could move back, right? And then this would be here, or I can move the fretboard forward to there. But the other way I can kind of think about it is like, okay, if this is Mixolydian and I want to make it Aeolian, then I can say, where is the Aeolian in the shape I'm currently in? Well, Mixolydian to the Aeolian is 1 modal half step up, which is going to be two notes up, right? So 2 notes up would be here. So that means I can find it, and then I can find all of the
Notes
octaves
in the new shape.
Yeah, I can find all the octaves, and then I can just pull the shape. So in other words, if I say if that's the 6, I can say, okay, where is the relative position of that 6? Well, it's right below, if you want to look at it relative to the box shape. Nodal point 6, Aeolian, is not in the box. It's below the box here, and it's directly above the box shape, like to the right of it over here. And one way you might think of it is it's in like the 3-note pillar shape, because if this shape, like if it was out here with the 6, you'd have a column of 3 that don't have anything like next to it, right? That's what I call the pillar, which is here too, but it got shifted up because of so you might think of it this way. So it's always on the 3-note down, pillar shape, if you want to think of it like that, however you want to think about it. And that whole shape then would just move directly to the right. So that means that this node would now be have the box right above it. And then I could say, well, if that's the second modal half step away, then where's the second modal half step away if I go above it, to the string above it? Well, if I go to the string above it, the second modal half step away is way back here. Open. It's the open node. So I could say, okay, well, the open node way back there, I can imagine the back of the shape moving up, right? The whole shape, the big shape. I could pull it all the way to the right and then pull it down to right there, right? And I would get the same thing. So that's the same. So I can imagine it that way, or I can imagine, well, where is it on the top string? The second modal half step away on the top string. I can figure. How do I figure it? Well, I could say, well, it's 2 modal half steps up. And that means it's going to be 10 modal half steps counterclockwise. So I can find it 5, 10, or I can say, well, if that's where I want to go, where's the octave of that on the top string? There's the octave shape that we're familiar with. So there's the octave shape up here. So then I can say, okay, well then I need to make this node right here pull down here. Now the problem with visualizing that is I can't see above this shape too easily, right? Because I can't, I can see it. So to do that, I have to be able to envision below the shape or envision the shape extending up, which I can do over here because it extends up the same string as down here, right? So I could say, I know what's directly above it, that shape. It's the 3 and the 4. It's the bottom of the box shape. However, then it gets messed up because the tectonic plate shifts, right? So from the perspective of this down bottom part, the tectonic plate shifts to the left. So it gets a little wonky to think that way, but you can kind of see it, right? I can see what's directly above that string by looking at the string right above the bottom string. And then I could go above that, but then I have to take into account the kink in the tuning. So I could say, okay, I can see that like below that shape or to the right of that shape is the box. So if I pulled that whole shape down or I pulled the fretboard to fit that shape, it would be the same thing. And then I can say, well, where's the second modal half step away from this string, from this note down here? Well, it'd be 2 notes away. So there's 5 notes between the string here. So 5, 4, 3, 2. So it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2 would be back here. That would be the second, right? Whoops,
Yeah, so 2 notes. Take your time.
So that means this shape. So same shape, right? Right above it is the box, and then down below it you have the pillar, but the pillar's been adjusted by this shift to the right. So again, I could just grab that whole shape and pull it this way and up to here, right? And then where's the second scale degree on this string? It's going to be 2 notes away from a local distance. So it would be 5 and then 10 as we shift this way. 5, 10, 11, 12, octave, 1, 2. So there it is here. So again, this string right above it, there's the box shape. So I could imagine I pull the whole back of the shape up here and then back here, right? And then I could go all the way down to here, right, to the last one. That should also be 2 notes away. So that would be 5, 10, 15. 15 minus 12 is 5 minus 2, which would be 3, and then back here to 2. So once again, right above this node, I have the box shape, which is distorted because from the perspective of this node, this is the tectonic plate that shifts, right? I'm going to imagine that this tectonic plate stays the same. This one shifted to the left. So there it is. So let me show you. So let me try to think that through on like a full page of the shape. So if I pull up like this shape,
God.
So now I'm starting on this collection of notes. So I have the nodal point 3 is fret 0, nodal point 3 is E. Fret 0, nodal point 6 is A. Fret 0, nodal point D is the D is nodal point 2, Dorian. Fret 0, the G is nodal point 5, Mixolydian. Fret 0 shifted because of the warp and the tuning, represented by the shape now. So the fretboard is distorted as though it's dipped into water. So then we have the nodal point, fret 0 B is nodal point 7, Locrian, and then fret point the E once again is the Phrygian.
Nodal point.
So now I can shift it. So I can say, okay, if I need to make that the 6, I need to make this nodal point 5, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th fret up, 3rd string down from the ceiling, which is a G. I need to make that G the Aeolian. Okay, so then I can just find the Aeolian in the shape. The Aeolian is a modal half step up or 2 scale degrees up. So I could imagine the shape moving, or I could imagine the shape, the fretboard moving on top of the shape this way, right? So then I can just say, right now, now I have the same shape, the same shape over here. So now this 6 is still a G relative to the red, right? Because this is fret 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down three strings from the ceiling. That would be a G, but now it's in the Aeolian position, and it has the box right above it, and you can see below it, it has the pillar, which isn't distorted even though it's crossing the warp, because the warp is being shown by the distortion in the fretboard shape. And then this one is still, relative to the yellow, is still 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th fret, 3rd string down from the ceiling. See, and then I should be able to do it with any string. So I should be able to say, if I can imagine like the octave of this Aeolian, that A has an octave back here, or I can get there by saying this is the second, the second scale, first modal half step, second scale degree. If I'm able to envision this one, which is often harder because it's an open position, so therefore I'm not putting my finger on it. So it's kind of hard for me to envision the open positions, which is kind of a drawback of the caged system, because in the caged system, we're trying to move up open positions where we're used to taking advantage of them being in open position, meaning I'm not putting my finger on it, right? So the tonic is the thing that I don't put my finger on in open position, and then I'm trying to see those open positions up the fretboard where I have to put my finger on it, right? Does that make sense? What do you think, Ara?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The whole point is that you need a visualization system that doesn't break when you leave the open position. You're right. Cage works great till you have to stretch the concept upward, and suddenly the open hole becomes a fretted note and your brain flips. So what you're building here is basically a geometry overlay. The notes don't move, the labels do. And if you keep the relative half-step count consistent, no matter how twisted the fretboard gets, you can always spot the 3rd, the 6th, the box, the pillar. That second being hard to see is exactly the weak point you need to patch. If you can reliably put a color on it or label it in the shape, then you're golden.
Yeah, see, because most of the time we think, the common thinking, which kind of makes sense until you like mull it over, is, well, I know open position. I can play everything in open position. I know it better than anything. Right? I can be like, I can noodle over here. I can play any. But
Yeah,
you're not
but
even
that's
really,
the
but you're not really thinking about what you're playing, and all of the roots are the open notes. So the problem is that you can't so when you're actually trying to play up here, you're not really, the open position is actually messing you up from every other point on the guitar, because you have to play it differently on every other point on the guitar. So you would think that I would be able to say, oh, well, I could see that A right there, and I'll just pretend that A was right here, and that would be the easiest one to transfer, meaning I should be able to pull this one up to here. You can. It's just that it's hard to envision the shape from that perspective, because everything you're used to playing from that perspective is using it as open. You never put your finger on it.
Exactly. The open string isn't really a string anymore. It's just a hole. So when you ask your brain to imagine that hole filled with a finger and then run the entire scale around that finger, the picture just glitches. That's why caged and 3 notes per string always end up in these awkward stretches. You're trying to build on something that's fundamentally missing. You're better off treating open strings as just low frets. Like, mentally bend the neck so every open note is actually a 0 fret.
Okay. So what would be the easiest strings to go to, you would think, would be to envision it, to be envisioning the top 2 strings, because most people know them up on the fret because those are their bar chords. So if I know that this one over here is the A, but maybe I don't know that one that well because it's not on the top 2 strings. I'd have to do like a D bar chord, which people don't know as well. So but I could say, well, if that is the Aeolian, then due to the octave, the one on the top is the Aeolian over here, right? The Aeolian would be back here. So currently the Aeolian is this 5th fret up on the top string. Most people see that as their bar chord. So it's more likely, because you're fingering that A, that you know this shape. You know where the box is. The box is over here relative to that. So then if I was to pull that shape down, pull that top string to here, or same thing, pull the fretboard on top of the shape up to here, then
Right,
then
exactly.
right? So then you would have it. So now relative to this, you have relative to the red, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th fret, 3rd string down from the ceiling, which means it's still a G, but now it's going to be the Aeolian node, and you can see right above it now you have the box. The box is now above it, and the box is still to the right of it. So looking down from this shape, it's the same, right? Like you can pull the shape down and say, well, I know what's here because I know if it was the top string, then it would have the box to the right of it. It only gets messed up when I cross the warp, right? When I cross the line down here, then the shape distorts. So the shape is exactly the same, like this was the top string, 2nd string from the ceiling, and then, however, it crosses the warp, right? So down here, it gets messy. So meaning it would pull back this way. It'd go doot doot, and then it gets messed up on the warp. Because this would be up. Yeah, this would be up. Like if I shift this shape up, it would go doot doot, and this would be shifted up. But it's being represented by this. So this one would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th fret up, which is this is the 5th fret up. So this, if I put the kink back in, it would shift to the right, and this one would be over here. That's what gets messed up. Okay, my head is starting to hurt again. Now I could do it at the bottom. I could go below it, which is less likely that people know, meaning where's the Aeolian down below? I could say, well, if the Aeolian is here, the octave would be here, or the Aeolian is going to be the first modal half step 2nd scale degree away. Find that, and if I know that shape, then I can find it there. Most people don't know that shape as well, right? Most people, I think, are going to find it on the top 2 shapes, and this would work best to find it there and then envision that pull down to here. But if I see that shape, I can still see right above it is my box here. To the right is my box here. So I can then pull this here and go, boom. I'm going to make that, so it's kind of like I made that the tonic. So now we're going to say that this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th fret up, 3rd string down from the ceiling is now the Aeolian, and you have now the box above it, the box to the right of it, and again it's the same shape. Now you could go, okay, what if I go to the bottom string? Here's the bottom Aeolian. So if that's an Aeolian, the Aeolian's down here. Most people can't visualize the bottom string as well because they don't visualize upwards. Most people on the guitar are visualizing from the top of the guitar down, but the bottom string repeats on the top, right? So you can envision if you see the bottom string and I say, well, the Aeolian is right here, which is shifted to the right, like on the guitar, it would actually be over here, be right underneath the Aeolian, but I'm shifting it to show the warp to the right. So this is actually 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th fret up. It should be right underneath this one, except I'm showing the warp back here, right? So that means like you can imagine this shape was up here. It's the top of the guitar. So it's actually easy to visualize the bottom shape extending below because it's the same as the top of the guitar, right? So if I pushed this down here, then what's gonna happen below that shape? It's gonna be the same thing as though, it started on the top of the guitar. So because this one it's the same as if that Aeolian up there. So I bring it down here. So once again, we had the same shape. So we got the box to the right of it, the box above it, and now this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and three strings down from the ceiling. Oh my goodness, my head is hurting. Okay.
So look, just pick one anchor string, say the high E. Find your tonic there. From now on, every modal change is 2 notes up on that string.
I want to be able to see it
Don't worry.
From every perspective, Ara. Every perspective, I can change it if I wanted to, which is going to drive me crazy, I think, if it hasn't already. I think I've driven myself crazy. But it's still, I'm still going to be able to change it from every perspective. Okay.
You will. It's a map. And maps don't show you everything until you know the legend. And your legend isn't the open position, it's the relation. If you can always ask, where's this note relative to the tonic, and get an answer, you can pivot anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's the top string, bottom, or sideways. Start with that. The rest is decoration.
Okay, so the Aeolian is the collection of notes is if the Aeolian is the if I make this the 6, what collection of notes am I in from the perspective of the Ionian? So right, because that's how I'm going to name my collection of notes, from the perspective of the major. So if this 6 here, where's the Ionian? It's up top, so I can see it like relative position to this shape. So if this was the Ionian so if this then was the shape 6, then the Ionian would be up here, fret 7, first string down from the ceiling, which is a B. And a B is the collection of notes 2. If A is 1, A is 1, A sharp is 2, B is 3. B is 3. So let's see if that makes sense. No, something is wrong. Dang it, I got messed up again. Okay, let me think about this. So if this is, then the Ionian is here. So if it's here, then the Ionian is here. It'd be A sharp, which would be 2. 2.
Right. So Aeolian is the 6th of whatever major key it's living in. So your 6 is the tonic of Aeolian, but the root of the major is 2 notes up. So yeah, A sharp major. Or if it's B flat major, that's easier to play. But anyway, the collection is the Ionian on that A sharp.
Right. So now here's the Aeolian, and right above it is the box shape. So that makes sense. And if the box shape is on the first and second strings down from the ceiling, and I'm leaning forward from that box shape, that's shape number 4. Shape number 4, which you might call the Locrian shape, but most people probably call it the Ionian E shape. And then behind it, if the box is up on the top 2 strings from the ceiling, and you're leaning back from that box, that would be shape number 1, which you might also call, from a cage system, the Ionian G shape, or you might call it the Aeolian shape, because that's where the starting point is. So that means if the 3rd string down from the ceiling is Aeolian, then you are between the shape number 1 and shape number 2. Right, no, shape number 2. I got this shape over here is shape number 2, which is shape number 2, which is Locrian or the Ionian E shape, not shape number 4. Idiot! Okay.
Wait,
Go ahead, Ara.
your tonic's on the low E string, but here, your tonic is on the 3rd string. So this box is actually the box for the Aeolian, which happens to look like an E shape, but it's rooted on the D string. So no, it's still Aeolian. Don't let the form trick you into changing the mode.
Okay.
The shape is...
I see what you're saying, Ara, but I don't feel like explaining myself right now, but I see what you're saying. Okay. So let's say so now the 3rd is up here, but it's a minor 3rd, therefore it's going to be back here because it's 3 notes away instead of 4 notes away from the Aeolian, which is a minor node, versus the Mixolydian, which is a major node, and therefore the nodal point 1 Ionian is always the 2nd modal half step 3rd scale degree from nodal point 6 Aeolian. The 7 is still relative same position because it's a minor 7, 10 notes away for both the Aeolian and the Mixolydian, and it has a distance of 10 notes away. That means that nodal point 5 Mixolydian is always the 6th modal half step 7th scale degree from nodal point 6 Aeolian, and the 1st modal half step 2nd scale degree, which is equivalent to the 10th modal half step 11th scale degree from just a pitch standpoint, is same relative position, 2 notes away, and that means that nodal point 7 is always the 1st modal half step 2nd scale degree, which is equivalent to the 10th modal half step, 11th scale degree from the Aeolian. And then down here is where our point of focus is, the 12th modal half step, 13th scale degree. So if it's the 13th scale degree, minus 1 would be 12 modal half steps up. And I can say 12 minus the minus 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 would be 5 modal half steps, or the 6th scale degree equivalent. 13 and the 6 are equivalent from a pitch standpoint if we take octaves out. And so that means 6 minus 1 is 5. And if I go 5 modal half steps up from nodal point 6, Aeolian, 6, 7, 1, 2, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something happened. Hold on. Wait a second, Ara. It's gonna be the 6th modal half step minus 1. It's gonna be the 6th modal half step. It's gonna be the 6th minus 1 would be 5 modal half steps. 5 modal half steps up from nodal point 6, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. What is happening? What is happening here?
From the Aeolian 6, count 5 half steps. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. That 4 is the third of the Ionian. That means the entire 13 node is actually the major 6 of the Ionian. Yes, exactly where it belongs. Your numbers weren't wrong. You just almost forgot the circle folds.
So it's 5 notes down to get from 5 notes down, which is the 4th scale degree. It's the 4th scale degree, which is the 3rd modal half step. The 3rd modal half step. So that means that the 6th is equivalent. The 13 is equivalent to the 6th. 6 is equivalent to the 6. 6 minus 1. The 13 is equivalent to this. It should be the 4. What am I on? 11. This was 11. Yeah, I haven't got to the 13 yet. This is equivalent to this is the 11th, right? What am I talking about? So I haven't got to the 13th yet, right? That's the thing. So 13, oh, my head is dying. My head is dying, Ara. I don't know if I can do this anymore. Let's go back. Let me try to go back. So let's put this at the beginning again. Let's go back to the collection of notes I know best. And then I'm going to go back here. And let's go to this quadrant. So I'm going to go to this quadrant. This is what I call the reach back quadrant. Most likely the least used quadrant to make chords from, but we'll start back from the beginning. So that means where's the 3rd if I reach back to this quadrant on the reach back quadrant. So it's going to be the 3rd. It's going to be 2 modal half steps up. So 5, 6, 7. So it's nodal point 7. So the Locrian is always the 3rd of the Mixolydian. So, and it's going to have a distance of 4 notes away because it's a major 3rd, but 4 notes away would be the clockwise distance. I'm going above it or down in pitch, meaning counterclockwise. So if it's going to be 4 clockwise, it would be 12 minus 4, or 8 counterclockwise. I'll call it -8. So we're going to say -5 above them between the strings, 6, 7, 8. So it's -8 away, which would have a local clockwise distance of 12 minus 8, or 4. Okay, so that's the 3rd. Okay. So now, that's great. So now let's imagine that, once again, let's go from Mixolydian down to the Lydian. So now I'm gonna bring it down to the Lydian this time. All right. And I'm just gonna look at those 2 notes and get the shape. So if this was nodal point number 5, and I want to bring it down to the Lydian, I can say, okay, well, the Lydian is 1 modal half step back, or it's equivalent to, if there's 7 modal half steps, 7 notes in the collection, 1 minus 7 would be 6 modal half steps forward, which would be the 7th scale degree. So, and we know that going the 7th away from the from the Mixolydian is a minor 7 or 10 notes away. So then I can look at each of these strings and go, okay, well, I know that that nodal point number 4 is back here, right? So it's going to be, so I could say, well, there, if I want to make that G nodal point 4, I can see it right there, and I can say, well, it's the bottom of the box, and I might know from a caged system the third string down. So if I look at that and say, well, the third string down, if I was going to make a normal bar chord from a caged system, it would be a D up here. So that would be like my D shape. So from that perspective, that would be the D shape, right? So would be here, right? From a caged system, because here's the box down here. But I might not know that, so that means that I could take this whole shape, shift it up here, or imagine the fretboard gets shifted back here, so this node will now be encompassing that box. But I might not know that box as well. Maybe I know the octave on the top string. So I can say, well, where's the octave on the top string? It's up here, right? Because there's the octave is 2 and over 1. So I could say, okay, there it is right there. It's an F. So now I can say, so that's my bar chord on the F. So if I'm doing a bar, if that was, no, wait a sec. I was saying that was the cage system. If this was the Ionian, that would be the D. But this isn't the Ionian. It's the 4, which is the Lydian. So it's not shape number 4. It's shape number 5 because the Ionian is above it, and it would be an Ionian A shape, right? So that's why that cage system kind of gets messy sometimes. And if I go over here, then it's the Lydian. I have a bar chord shape, but again, it's not shape number 1. I can make a Lydian bar chord off of it, which would be a major shape, but it's not an Ionian. The Ionian is over here. But if I can see that shape as the Lydian shape, then I can see the box is down here, and I can then pull that shape to here. I can treat that as though it's the Lydian on the top string, and then imagine that whole bit got pulled to here, right? So that this would be the top string, right? And then I can think, well, what's above the top string? Well, above it, if you imagine this is the top string equivalent, you know the strings above it then, at least directly above it, and then it hits the warp, which gets things messy. So I can kind of, so I can at least start to envision, well, if I pull this shape down here, I know at least the same relative positions on the string I'm on and the string underneath it, and then it hits the warp going down. And I know going up, it'll be the same relation between this string and the one above it, and then it would hit the warp going up, which I'd have to kind of accommodate for. And then if I went below it, I probably don't know as well, but I could go below it and say the one that's going to be the 7th down here will be over here. And again, I might not know like the bar chord this way, but I might know the box shape and say, oh, that's in the middle of the box. So if the middle of the box is the 2nd and 3rd string down from the ceiling, then that's going to be shape number 3 leaning forward, shape number 2 leaning backwards. So if I pulled this over here, it would be shape number 3 leaning forward, shape number 2 leaning backwards. And then if I look at it down here, I could say, okay, now here it is down here. And again, I can visualize the box this way. It's the bottom of the box. A little bit more difficult to envision pulling it up to here because it crosses the warp. But I can think, if I know down here below it, I know the string below it down here, right? So if I think of this as being that, then again, I can kind of envision the string I'm on, and I can envision the relation between the string below it pretty easily if I happen to know those two strings well. And then down here, again, it would be down here. Once again, it's at the bottom of the box where I might be able to envision it's above it. So if I pulled this box here, I can say, well, if that was up here, then I know what's directly above it. Then it would hit the warp. And I might not know what's below it, but I can kind of envision that that's the same as if it was the top string, Lydian, not Ionian on the top string. And then I can, and then I can envision everything below it because I might know my bar chords from the top. Okay, so let me try to pull that up over here and move my shape around and see if that makes any sense.
It's already making sense. You've got two solid bridges now. The top string bar chord you know, and the bottom of the box you know. Pick whichever feels faster. Slide the fretboard or slide your finger. Either way, the Lydian shape is locked the moment your brain trusts that one relation. Rest on that.
So now all I have to do is say, okay, here I'm in the collection of notes around the key of C. This is fret 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then third string down from the ceiling, that's a G, which is on the Mixolydian node in the collection of notes around the key of C. I want to make it the Lydian node. So if I can find the Lydian node in this collection of notes, which would be the 7th away, then I can say, well, the 7th is behind it, the 7th is here, the 7th is there, the 7th is there, the 7th is there. If I find it behind it here, then I can go, okay, I can shift this shape back, and then I can imagine that the Lydian is in the middle of that shape. So now relative to the red shape, the Lydian is fret 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets up and 3 frets down from the ceiling, and now it's within the Lydian shape. And I know that I can make a bar chord going forward from that because the Lydian is a major shape which has a D shape, but it's not the D, it's the whole shape isn't the caged D shape, although you can make like a major D chord going forward because you're measuring from the Lydian. Lydian is different than the Ionian. But I might not know that as well. I might become more comfortable knowing the top shape. So if I know this is Lydian, then where's the octave on the top string? That might be the easiest one I can envision. So it's going to be back here. There it is on the top string. So if it's on the top string, I might know, oh, this is where I have that 3 notes per string shape out here, that long spaced out whole part of the whole half, because I'm on the 4 hold to 5 hold to 6 hold to 7, if I keep all of the nodes numbered the same, right? So then I could say, well, that would be pulled down here. So I can imagine this whole thing pulling down here. So this would be like the top string, or I can imagine the fretboard going up here. So same thing. So now I'm in the same shape. So now from the perspective of the yellow, then that would be the second shape here. But from the perspective of the red, it would be the 5th fret forward, 3rd string down from the ceiling. And again, you can imagine like it's the top string if it was on the top string 2nd fret, right? Which means you have that shape whole, and then the box is below it down here. I can do a major bar chord, even though that's not the E shape, right? That's what's problem with the cage system, because the E shape fits on all the majors, which is the Ionian, the Lydian, and the Mixolydian. So then I can go, okay, I could do the same thing like down here. So the 7th is right there. There's the Lydian down here. So if I see it on this string, I might be able to see that shape because I might better visualize the box down here. So down here, I might see the box better. And I say, well, if it's down in the box right here, then that means the box is like right in between the guitar, leaning forward, shape number 3, leaning back, shape number 2, right? So if I pull this up like this, now it's the 5th fret up, 3rd string down, and this box then, leaning forward, is shape number 3, which would be the Ionian A shape, and leaning back, shape number 2, Ionian C shape. And then so I might be able to see the shapes better on those strings because I'm focused more on like some shape inside. And then down here, here's the box down here, same thing. I might see this box better, and I might be able to say, well, that's at the bottom. It would be kinked. If this kink was over here, the box would be shifted, right? But if I can see that shape, then I can move this down here, and boom. or I can move it back here, and boom. Okay. All right, makes perfect sense. Right, Ara?
Yep. You see it now. The shapes are still the same. You're just rotating which one you're standing on. Go with your strongest visual and let the others catch up.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. Okay. My head is messed up. Let me just noodle around for a little bit.
Go ahead, play whatever. I'll keep quiet. So, don't let me interrupt your groove.